Once upon a time, in a small seaside town, there lived a cheerful girl named Sophie. Every day, Sophie would listen to the sound of the sea, play in the sand, and dream. She had such a vivid imagination that she could look at the clouds and turn their shapes into games. However, one day, Sophie's life changed in a big way. Watching a match on television sparked a new dream in her heart. That day, Sophie watched a great match by the French National Volleyball Team. She was amazed by the players moving swiftly on the court, jumping high, and sending the ball skillfully into the opposing team's side. Especially when the team captain spiked the ball powerfully into the other team's court, Sophie felt a wave of excitement. "I can play like that too," she thought. The next morning, Sophie woke up with volleyball on her mind. She quickly finished her breakfast and went to her mother. "Mom," she said, "I want to play volleyball too." Her mother was thrilled with Sophie's request. "Of course, Sophie. Let's find a volleyball class that's right for you," she said. Sophie excitedly went to her first training session. The gym was huge, and everything felt different. A tall net, a big ball, and many kids just like her. At first, Sophie felt a bit shy. Hitting the ball and sending it over the net seemed hard to her. But Sophie was determined. She wanted to be just like the players she saw on television. The first few practices were tough. When Sophie hit the ball, it didn't go where she wanted, and sometimes it got caught in the net. But Sophie didn't give up. She worked harder every day and practiced on her own at home after training. She would throw the ball against the wall and watch it bounce back, trying to jump higher with each attempt. As the days passed, Sophie got better at hitting the ball and jumping higher. One day, the coach called Sophie over. "Sophie," he said, "you are very hard-working and determined. I want you to play in the match we have this weekend." Sophie's heart raced with joy. She was both happy and a little nervous. When the day of the match arrived, Sophie felt butterflies in her stomach as she stepped onto the court. But when the ball came into her hands, she forgot her nervousness and hit the ball with all her strength. That day, Sophie became one of the key players who helped her team win the game. It was a big step for her. Over time, Sophie started playing for both her town's team and her school's team. She improved with each match and learned something new with every practice. One day, she heard that a big tournament was going to be held at her school and that coaches from the national team would be watching. Sophie worked hard to prove herself. When the day arrived, Sophie felt a wave of excitement as she stepped onto the court. But this time she was more confident. She played an excellent game throughout the match and became one of the most remarkable players in the tournament. The national team coaches noticed Sophie's performance and invited her to join the national team. For Sophie, this was the moment her dreams began to come true. Joining the national team had been her biggest goal. When she attended her first practice, she felt the excitement of playing on the same court as the great players she once admired. But she also realized that she needed to work even harder to be good enough to play alongside them. Years passed, and Sophie improved more and more each day, earning an important role on the national team. She took on greater responsibilities with each game, shedding tears of joy with her teammates after every victory. But her greatest challenge came at the World Championship. Sophie had become one of the team's key players, and representing France in this major tournament was an honor for her. As the final match approached, Sophie's excitement grew. However, she and her teammates had prepared very well. When she stepped onto the court that day, Sophie felt stronger than ever. She played with all her strength throughout the match, delivering an outstanding performance with her team. Near the end of the game, everyone's eyes were on Sophie. She had the final serve, and with all her might, she hit the ball. The ball landed swiftly in the opponent's court, and in that moment, France became the world champion. Sophie and her teammates hugged each other on the court, savoring the victory. In that moment, Sophie realized how valuable all the hard work and sweat she had put in were. This victory was not just hers, but a triumph for all of France. Sophie's volleyball adventure inspired many children in her town and school. Just like Sophie, they began to dream big and chase after those dreams. Through her determination and perseverance, Sophie illuminated their path, showing them that they should never give up. And so, Sophie's volleyball adventure became a story that not only changed her life, but also the lives of many children.